The question says A and C worked on job Y, working alternatively for 10 days. B and D then worked together for X days. If 1 by 36 of the job was still remained, then find the value of X. So basically they are working on job Y, which required similar efforts. So basically this graph is applicable for job X, Y, Z, all three of them, right? Now A and C worked on job Y, working alternatively for 10 days. You understand? So if you see first, second, third, fourth and so on up to 10 days, A and C have worked alternatively. A, C and so on, and final day again C. Now we know that A can actually finish the job Y in 10 days, C can do it in 15 days. So how much will A do on first day? 1/10. How much would C do on second day? 1/15. Again A on third day? 1/10. C on fourth day? 1/15. I mean, this is like regular process that you know, right? You don't have to write all these steps in the exam. So basically what do we conclude from this? In 2 days of time, how much of job will get over? We will be able to finish 1 by 10 plus 1 by 15. Yes or no? Because the cycle is for 2 days, right? Every 2 days the same amount of work gets done. So 1 by 10 plus 1 by 15 is how much? Mental calculation. 30 is LCM. 3 plus 2, 5 by 30, 1/6. In 2 days, 1/6 of the job gets over. You understand? This is equal to 1 by 6. This is also equal to 1 by 6 and so on. So 1/6, 1/6, 1/6 for 5 times. I mean 2 days each, right? So every 2 days they finish 1/6 of the work. So 10 days is like 5 times 2 days, right? So in 10 days, how much of work is over? In 10 days, they'll finish 5 by 6. 5 by 6 is completed, is done. Implies how much is remaining? What is the remaining work? Remaining work is 1/6. Yes or no? If 5 by 6 is done, 1/6 is remaining. The spelling of remaining is wrong, but yeah, that doesn't really matter. Don't correct it when you're solving it in the exam, right? Remaining work is 1 by 6. Remaining work is equal to 1 by 6. Now comes the next part. So after they have worked for 10 days, B and D then work for X days. B and D work for X days. And 1/36 of the job was still remaining. Then find the value of X. So basically, 5 by 6 is done, 1/6 is remaining. Now B and D have worked together. And after working together for X days, 1/36 is still remaining. Which means the work done by B and D. How much is the work done by B and D? Work done by B plus D. How much is that? See, B plus D were given 1/6 of the work, remaining work. But they work for X days and still 1/36 are remaining. So I can say B and D together have finished how much? 1 by 6 minus 1 by 36. Which is like 5 by 36, right? You're able to follow. After A and C left, 1/6 of the work was remaining. B and D came after that. They have worked for X days, and after working for X days, still 1/36 of the job was remaining. So how much of the work has been done by B and D out of 1 by 6? Out of 1 by 6, they have done 1 by 6 minus 1 by 36. So 5/6 has been done by B and D. And they have done this 5/6 of the work in how many days? In X days. You're able to follow. 5/6 of the work has been done in X days. So what is the value of X is the question. Now understand, B in 1 day can finish 1/12. D in 1 day can finish 1/18. So B and D in 1 day, how much will they finish? B plus D in 1 day. In 1 day, how much will they finish? B will do 1/12 and D will do 1/18. How much is this? Simplify. 36 is the LCM. 3 plus 2, 5 by 36. So which means B and D, if they work for 1 day, they can finish 5/36 of the work. And that's what they've done here, right? They work for some X days to finish 5 by 36. I know that in 1 day, from the given graph, in 1 day they can finish 5/36 of the work. So obviously for finishing this 5/36 of the work, they have taken 1 day. So I can say X is equal to 1 day. As simple as that. Again, do not go by the length of the solution here, right? I'll highlight what all should not be put on paper. All this is crap. This is just for your understanding, right? I mean, within no time, you must figure out that in 2 days they can finish 1 by 10 plus 1 by 15, which is like 1/6. So in 10 days they'll finish 5 by 6. All these are mental calculations. I think in my view, even this portion should not be put on paper. You can do it mentally. 1/6 is remaining. Again, B and D have also done 1 by 6 minus 1 by 36. This also should be done mentally. Maybe this step you put on paper, but otherwise there's hardly any paperwork there. You're able to follow? So 1 by 36 was remaining. That remaining has to be subtracted from 1/6 which was given to B and D to get the amount of work done by B and D. And then find out capacity of B and D to get the required answer. Okay. Let's discuss the solution now. E worked on job Z for 5 days and the remaining job was completed by A, B and D, who worked on alternate days starting with A followed by B and D in that order. Find the number of days B worked for. Right? So interesting question. He says E worked on job Z. Now remember, job Z is same as X, which is same as Y. So basically this is the requirement for job Z, right? If A has to work on job Z, he'll take 10 days, B takes 12 days, C takes 15 days, D takes 18 days and E takes 20 days. Now E worked on Z for 5 days and the remaining job was done by A, B, D, who worked on alternate days starting with A followed by B and D in that order. So basically it's not really alternate days that way. I mean, I don't know what the term to be used, but it's like A, then B, then D, again A, B, D, again A, B, D and so on. But this came into picture only after E has worked for 5 days. You're able to follow. Now, if you look at it, we know that E needs 20 days to finish this job. E can finish the whole job in 20 days. Right? E can do, like if you look at E's capacity, he can do one job in 20 days. One is like 1 unit, right? Total job in 20 days. So if E works for 5 days, how much of the job will get over? 1/4 of the job will get over? Yes or no? If he can finish the full job, 1 unit of the job in 20 days, in 5 days he'll finish how much? 1/4 of the job, right? Implies E has done 1/4 of the job. 1/4 is done. If 1/4 is done, 3/4 is remaining. These are all mental calculations again. I mean, you don't have to write any step on paper. E can do in 20 days. He has worked for 5 days. So 1/4 is done. If 1/4 is done, 3/4 is remaining. Now that 3/4 will be done by whom? By A, B, D, who will work in A followed by B followed by D in that order. So then the number of days for which B worked for is the question. And understand, again it's the same like the previous one, right? A, B, D, again A, B, D and so on. So the set will be for 3 days. Every set of 3 days, the same amount of work gets completed. A's capacity is 1/10, B's capacity is 1/12, D's capacity is 1/18, right? So each day when A works, he will finish 1/10. When B works, B finishes 1/12 and D finishes 1/18. So how much will they work? How much will they finish if they work for 3 days, let's say? This is the amount of work done in 3 days. Yes or no? They'll come one after the other in that sequence. So what's the value here? I think 60, 90, what is LCM? 180 is LCM. So 18 plus 15, 33 plus 10, 43. 43 by 180. So they can do 43 by 180 in how many days? 3 days. Who? A, B, D. So in one cycle they will finish 43 by 180. 43 by 180, right? 43 by 180 of the work. How much are they supposed to do? They are supposed to do 3/4 of the work. You are getting in? 1/4 is already done by E. Now 3/4 is to be done. Yeah. So 43, I mean if I have to look at it, 43 by 180 is like approximately 1/4. 45 by 180 is 1/4, right? Try and understand. I mean mentally if you see, 43 by 180 is like very close to 45 by 180. 45 by 180 is what? Exactly 1/4. So we are basically saying that approximately 1/4 of the work is done in 3 days. You look at it, approximately 1/4 of the work is done in 3 days. Try and understand. Let's assume that total work is 180 units. And so, I mean, we have started with 1 unit, but assuming total work as 180 units is going to make it simple, right? Let's assume that the total work W is equal to 180. E has done how much? E has done 1/4, which is equal to 45 out of 180. You understand? E has done 45 out of 180. 1/4 of the work is done. Out of 180 units, 1/4 is done, which means 45 out of 180 is done. Now what is remaining? 3/4. 3/4 is nothing but 135 by 180. So basically A, B and D, this group has to do how much? They have to do 135 by 180 of the work. Now 135 by 180 has to be done. We know that they can finish 43 by 180 in 3 days. So try to get this as close as possible to 135 by 180. That's the regular way we solve these questions, right? You must have seen our time and work videos. So multiply both sides by what? I think multiply both sides by 3 into 3. So what do we get? 43 into 3. So that's like 129, right? 129 by 180 can be done in 9 days. Right? What is remaining now? See, they were supposed to do 135 by 180, out of which they finished 129 by 180. So how much is remaining? 6 by 180 is remaining. 6 by 180. You understand? Implies the remaining work is how much? 6 by 180, which is like 1 by 30. Now, who will come on the 10th day? See, after 9 days have passed, first 5 days have passed, after that 9 days have passed. Who will come on 10th day? On the 10th day, again this person A would come. And you know that A's capacity is 1 by 10. So, can he not finish 1 by 30 in that 10th day? Yes. In 1/3 of the day, he will finish 1 by 30 of the work. You are able to follow? Now, the question is, find the number of days for which B worked. See, understand, in this set of 9 days, B will come how many times? 3 times. Out of these 9 days, A worked for 3 days, B worked for 3 days, D worked for 3 days. Again on the 10th day, A comes and finishes this 1/30th of the work. So basically, the number of days for which B worked for is 3 days. The answer to this question will be 3 days. You're able to follow? 3 days is the final answer. You got to understand the whole process. I mean, this thing. Let me just put it here. I mean, this lack of space, but what is happening is first day, second day, third, fourth, fifth, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. The work goes on for 15 days. Understand that for the first 5 days, only E is working. So E works here, E works here. I mean, I'm hoping that all of you have followed this, but let me just put it here so that you can follow. Then next, after E's work for 5 days, A, B, D will come into picture. So they work in this fashion: A, B, D, again A, B, D, again A, B, D, and then A comes. So how much is getting over in this 5 days? 45 by 180 is over. In these 3 days, every set of 3 days, we are finishing 43 by 180. So in 9 days, we'll finish 129 by 180. 129 by 180. On the 10th day, A would come, I mean on this 15th day, in fact, A will come and he will finish. Actually, he will not take the full day. He will take only 1/3 of the day and he will finish that remaining work, 1 by 30th of the work. So the question is, how many times here did B work? So if you see, B came on 7th day, B came on 10th day, and B came on 13th day. Only 3 days. So that is the reason our answer here is 3 days. I hope you have followed this. Alright, so here's the question. It says, if the ratio of number of days for which B and D worked on job X is 4:3, then find the difference between the number of days for which B and D worked. Oh, sorry, is this the question? Hold on, I think the question was something else. Yeah, sorry. Here's the question. So the question says, if A, C and E worked on job Z for 2 days each and the remaining job was done by B and D, if the ratio of number of days for which B and D worked is in the ratio of 20:21, then find the number of days for which B worked. So basically he's talking about job Z. Again, we know that for job Z or job Z also, the requirement is same. Efforts needed are same, right? 10, 12, 15, 18, 20 respectively for A, B, C, D and E, right? So he says A, C and E worked on job Z for 2 days each. So A, C and E work for 2 days each. Now understand, A in 1 day can finish 1/10. So in 2 days he'll finish 2 by 10. Plus C in 1 day can finish 1 by 15. So in 2 days C will finish 2 by 15. Plus E in 1 day can finish 1 by 20. So in 2 days E will finish 2 by 20. Simplify this. So what is LCM? 60 is LCM. We can take 2 common here, of course. So 10 goes 6 times, this is 4 times and this is 3 times. So 6, 4 and 3 is 13. 13 by 60 or 26 by 60 is done. Right? Is done by whom? A, C and E. A, C and E who has worked for 2 days each. Right? 20 by 26 is done. Implies how much is remaining? Remaining is how much? Remaining would be 34 by 60. Or you can say 17 by 30. Right? 34 by 60, let's say. 34 by 60 of the work is remaining. Clear? Now, the point is the remaining job was done by B and D and the ratio of the number of days for which B and D worked is 20:21. The ratio of the number of days for which B and D worked is 20:21. So find the number of days for which B worked. Now try and understand that the remaining work is 34 by 30 and it was done by whom? Done by B and D. right? The remaining work 34 by 60 was done by B and D, and it says that B and D worked in the ratio of 20:21, right? So find the number of days for which B worked is the question here, right? Find the number of days for which B worked. See, we know the capacities of B and D. B's capacity is 1 by 12, D's capacity is 1 by 18, right? The capacities are 1 by 12 and 1 by 18. Now let's assume that these are like 20D and 21D. I mean, it's like parts, right? 20 parts and 21 parts, like we usually say. So it's like 20D and 21D, right? Now, simple point is this remaining work 34 by 60 was done by B and D. B worked for how many days? 20D days. D worked for how many days? 21D days. In one day, B can do 1 by 12. So in 20D days, he'll do 20D by 12. And in one day, D can do 1 by 18. So in 21D days, he'll do 21D by 18. Simplify this. What happens? So if you simplify for 12 and 18, the LCM is what? 180 again. So this goes 15 times, right? Or I think we can take 6 common. Let us simplify it here itself. Take 6 common. So this is 10 times, 2 times and 3 times. This is 10 times and this is 7 times. So basically 17D equals to 34 by 10. 17D is 34 by 10. So D is like 1 by 5. D is 1 by 5. That's it. The fact that you've got D, you know that how many days were spent by B and D, right? He's asking us to find out the number of days for which B worked. See, B worked for 20D days. What is D? 1 by 5. So 20 into 1 by 5, which is 4 days. Right? So that's the answer. The following bar graph shows the percentage breakup of a person's salary from year 2001 to 2005. With the given information, answer the following questions. Right? So there is a bar graph given to us which shows, see, understand, whenever it comes to data interpretation, it's very important for you to understand the given data first. Don't jump to the questions directly, right? Don't be in a hurry to solve the questions. First, get to know what exactly can be, extracted from the given graph, right? What values, what type of values can be calculated. Once you are clear with the data, then proceed to the questions. So here, the following bar graph shows what? Percentage breakup of a person's salary from the year 2001 to 2005. So you can see there are 5 bars given here, right? 2001 to 2005, right? 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it shows the percentage breakup of a person's salary. So whatever be the person's salary in the year 2001, the breakup of that salary in terms of percentage is given to us. And you can see the same bar has got 3 sections here, 3 parts here. So the first one is 38%, then we have 22% and 40%. You're getting it? What are the meanings of these colors here? Different colors used here. You see, orange shows transport expense. This dark blue here shows EMI expense, and the lighter one shows savings. So we can say that in the year 2001, the person has spent 40% of his salary on transport expenses, right? 40% on transport expenses. He has spent about 22% on EMI expense, 22% on EMI expense, and the remaining 38% on savings. Remaining 38% are his savings. Yes or no? So if you actually observe, this should add up to 100, right? So 38 plus 22 is 60%. 60% plus 40% is 100%, right? Every bar, if you see from 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything is maximum up to 100%. Right? So out of the 100% salary, the breakup between transport expense, EMI expense and savings is given to us. What is funny here is this person does not have any food or any other expenses. I don't understand that part, but anyway, neglecting all those commonly known facts, we got to answer the question. So only 3 expenses: transport expense, EMI expense and savings. So 2001, the breakup is given. Similarly, the breakup for the remaining years is also given to us. Like if you see 2004, he had spent 20% of his salary on transport expenses, 22% on EMI, and the rest, which is 58%, were his savings. And so is the case for remaining years as well. So very simple data. All we can find out from this is the percentage expenditure on a given item, which can be transport or EMI or savings. Alright, let's now look at the questions. So here's the first question, right? So for the same data, see what the question is. If the ratio on savings in the year 2002 and 2005 is 7:5, what ratio? Savings ratio. Which years? 2002 and 2005. How much is it? 7:5. So the ratio on savings in 2002 and 2005. In 2002 and 2005 is 7:5. See, savings we know is this light blue in color, right? So in 2002, the ratio, the expenditure on savings or the percentage of savings was 42%, right? 42% of the salary was saved. And that in the year 2005 was 30%. 30% of the salary was saved. So basically the ratio of these two is equal to 7:5. Then what is the ratio of EMI expenses in the year 2002 and 2005? We got to find out the ratio of EMI expenses for 2002 and 2005. Now easy to do. What can we do here? See, let us assume the salary in 2002 is S and that in 2005 is S dash. You actually don't have to do all this drama in the exam, but for the sake of clear explanation, I am writing all these steps in detail, right? I mean, if you are smart, you can start doing the calculations mentally without having to put pen on paper. However, for the sake of clear understanding, let's assume salary in 2002 is S and that in 2005 is S dash. Now, what ratio is given to us? Savings ratio. So, can I say 42% of S upon 30% of S dash is equal to 7:5? 42% of 2002's salary, 30% of 2005 salary is 7:5. Now try and simplify this. What happens? See, percentage anyway gets cancelled. Percentages anyway get cancelled by 100 and by 100. The 7 here goes 6 times, 5 also goes 6 times, and 6 and 6 also gets cancelled. So finally, what do we get to know? S by S dash is equal to 1 by 1, 1:1, or it means S is equal to S dash. So basically the salary in these 2 years was equal. The salary in 2002 is equal to the salary in 2005. Now what is he asking us to find out? EMI expenses. EMI expenses for the same 2 years. How much did he spend on EMI in 2002? 40%. 40% of what? S divided by. How much did he spend on EMI in 2005? 35%. 35% of what? 35% of S dash. But since S and S dash are equal, will these two get cancelled? Yes, it will get cancelled. Percentage anyway makes no sense here because it's a common factor. So it can be cancelled in numerator and denominator. What are we left with? 40 by 35. Can 40 by 35 be taken as 8 by 7? Yes. 40 by 35 is 8 by 7. 8 5s and 7 5s. So 8:7. Option 3 is the answer. However, having done all this, let me tell you that a lot of these steps can be cut down. You don't have to put every step on paper. Avoid putting all the steps on paper, right? Cut down the number of steps so that you arrive at the answer much faster. Okay, the more you write on paper, the more time it takes. Anyway, the answer is option 3, 8:7. Let me present the next question to you all. So look at the next one here. What does it say? If the saving in 2002 is 3/5 of the saving in 2004, then what is the total expenditure on transport in 2002? Given that the total expense in 2004 is rupees 1,75,000, right? So let's try and decipher this now, right? First of all, frame the equations like I've said, right? Savings in 2002 is 3/5 of savings in 2004. Now, what is the saving in 2002? 42%. What is the saving in 2004? 58%. So basically, again, let's assume salaries are S and S dash, right? So 42% of S saving in 2002 it is equal to 3/5 of 3 by 5 of saving in 2004. What is the saving in 2004? 58% of S dash. 58% of S dash. 42% of S equals 3/5 of 58% of S dash. This is savings in 2002 and here's the saving in 2004. Now from this what do we get? We get to know the ratio of S versus S dash, right? We can find out the ratio of S and S dash, right? Salary ratio can be obtained. Then he's asking us to find out what? He says find out what is the total expenditure on transport in 2002. What is the total expenditure on transport in 2002? 18%. So basically the question says find out what is 18% of S. 18% of S is equal to what is the question? 18% of S equals to what is the question? Given that the total expense in 2004 is 1,75,000. Total expense in 2004 is 1,75,000. Now I know that in a hurry, most of you would assume that 1,75,000 given here is S dash. Because the total of 2004 is S dash and that is 1,75,000. But that is why you have got the wrong answer. Understand, it is not the total salary of 2004. Remember that the graph here talks about the breakup of a person's salary. So here we are talking about the total salary. But what is 1,75,000? 1,75,000 is the total expense. Is the total expense of 2004. Given that the total expense in 2004 is 1,75,000. You understand the difference? So basically, if you look at the components given here, which are transport expense, EMI expense and savings, what are expenses? Only transport and EMI are expenses. Saving is not an expense. So when he says 1,75,000 is the total expense for 2004, it does not mean that 100% of 2004 is 1,75,000. It is only these two expenses. What expenses? Transport expense, which is 20%, and EMI expense, which is 22%. Are you able to follow? So don't take 100% of S dash equals to 1,75,000. It is only 20 plus 22. 20% plus 22%, which is equal to 42%. 42% of what? S dash. 42% of S dash is equal to 1,75,000. That is it. I think now that the question is done, now that the equations have been framed, you can solve the question very easily. All we need to do is find out S dash from this. We know that 20% plus 22% is 42%. 42% of S dash is 1,75,000. Can you get S dash from this? Yes, you get S dash from this. Can you substitute that S dash here? Yes, you can substitute it here. And then you'll get S. Once you get S, can you find out 18% of S? Yes. See, calculations are involved. I don't say that there are no calculations. You got to do those calculations. But then, what is important is, did you understand the question properly? I'm sure a lot of you have gone wrong, misunderstood that this is the total salary for the year 2004. It is not. 1,75,000 is not the total salary. 1,75,000 is the total expense of the year 2004. Total expense of the year 2004. You understand? Total expense of 2004. And total expense here means the transport expense and the EMI expense, but not the savings. Right? I think calculation is your lookout. You can do it yourself. I can just maybe help you with, you can cut down a few steps. Like for example, don't actually worry about percentages. Both the sides here are percentages, right? Symbols get cancelled by 100 and by 100. Now from this we can say S dash is equal to 1,75,000 into 100 upon 42. Right? 42% of S dash is this. So S dash is equal to 1,75,000 into 100 upon 42. Or if you are, strong in your calculations, if you would directly like to find out S dash from that, you can do that as well. Right? I mean, 42% is 1,75,000. So what is 100% basically? 100% will be S dash. So calculate S dash, substitute here. Right? So from this we can say S is equal to 3 by 5 into 58. 3 by 5 into 58 into S dash. Now what is this S dash? We have just calculated. 175,000 into 100 upon 42. And remember this 42 also will come here. Right? 42% of S, 42 into S is 3 by 5 into 58 into S dash. So S will be 3 by 5 into 58 by 42 of S dash. And S dash is 1,75,000 into 100 upon 42. Okay. Now, again, this is not the actual requirement. The actual requirement is only 18% of this. Right? So if S is this, 18% of that. So I'll just change it here itself. In the exam also you got to do this, right? Don't waste your time in calculating S. Directly calculate 18% of S. So 18%. If it is 18%, what do we do? Multiply this with 18 by 100. This is the final answer. Simplification is your lookout. You have to do it yourself. But yeah, just simplify that and you get the answer. Like hundreds. See, the advantage of writing everything first and then doing the simplification is a lot of things would get cancelled. Right? If you had not considered 18% immediately, you would have multiplied with 100 and then you will be dividing by 100 at a later stage. Makes no sense, right? First multiplying with x, then dividing by x is only increasing the number of steps. Anyway, you got to do the simplification, right? 3 by 5 into 58 into 175,000 into 18 by 42 squared. Simplify that and you will get the final answer, which is not going to be any of these, right? 1, 2, 3 or 4. I mean, if you can just look at the range of it, you would understand, right? So do the final simplification. Answer will be option 5, none of these. Answer would be option 5, none of this. I hope all of you have followed this. So the key here was understand the question properly, right? It is the total expense for the year 2004, which comes out to be only 42% and not 100%. Chalo, I hope all of you have followed. Option 5, none of this will be the final answer. You got to do the simplifications yourself and try to do a smart calculation. I mean, don't try to find out the exact answer. Just try and see if the answer can be in the given ranges. Like here, if you actually look at my calculation, I am not interested in finding out what the correct answer is. I am trying to look at if the first 4 options are right. And somehow I sense that 31,000, 26,000, 21,000 and 15,000 are out of ranges, right? Out of the range. So if these four are out of the range, answer has to be option 5, none of this. Okay, let's move to the next one. I'll leave the calculation to you. Let's move to the next question. So here's the next one. See what it says. If every year there is an increase of 100% in monthly salary as compared to previous year's monthly salary, then what is the ratio of monthly salary in 2005 to the expenses on transport in 2003? Right? So basically every year there is an increase of 100% in monthly salary. Increase of 100% in the monthly salary as compared to previous year's monthly salary. You understand what is increase of 100% means, right? Double. The salary gets doubled, right? 100% increase means what? Anything that has increased by 100% means what? It has got doubled. So every year there is an increase of 100% in monthly salary as compared to the previous year's monthly salary. I wish we all find such companies where such an increase is given every year, right? Increase of 100%. Your salary just gets doubled every year. And it's obvious that if the monthly salary is doubled, the yearly salary also gets doubled, right? If your monthly salary is getting doubled, yearly salary also gets doubled, right? No doubts about that. Then what is the ratio of monthly salary in 2005? The monthly salary in 2005 to the expenses on transport in 2003. Expenses on transport in 2003. So if you got to find a ratio here. Ratio of the monthly salary of 2005 versus the transport expenses of 2003. Okay. So let's try and work on this. See, since it is about a ratio, or even if it is about like percentages, we can always assume that the salary in 2003 is like 100 rupees. We can start with that assumption. Basically what would happen, let's say the salary in 2003 is S. What will happen to the salary in 2004? It will become 2S. It doubles, right? And what happens in 2005? This becomes 4S. So S becomes 2S, 2S becomes 4S, right? It doubles into 2 into 2, S into 2, 2S, 2S into 2, 4S. So what was S in 2003 will become 4S in 2005 based on the given rate of increment, right? 100% increase every year. Let's assume S is the monthly salary, by the way, right? See, we have to be very clear about monthly salary and yearly salary here. He's asking us to find out the ratio of monthly salary of 2005, the monthly salary of 2005 to the expenses on transport in 2003, expenses on transport in 2003. So you can either take S, 2S, 4S, or you can also say salary in 2003 is 100. So that in 2004 will become 200 and in 2005 it will become 400. That also can be done. You can start with some random value, preferably 100. But you can also take it 95 if you want, or 97 if you like 97 number, right? 97 into 2, 194, and then 194 into 2, right? 388 would be the values there. Anyway, so, we know this is how the salaries would undergo a change. Now, so we are assuming that these are monthly salaries, by the way. S is the monthly salary, let's assume. Right? Monthly salaries. S, 2S, 4S. S, 2S, 4S. Now, ratio of monthly salary in 2005. Now, what is the monthly salary in 2005? Monthly salary in 2005 is 4S. So, let me just put it here for the sake of clear explanation. Monthly salary of 2005 is to transport expense of 2003. Transport expense of 2003. What's the monthly salary of 2005? See, monthly salary of 2005 is 4S. So 4S as it is to transport expense of 2003. Now he has asked us to find out the transport expenses in 2003. Transport expenses in 2003 means what? The total transport expenses for the year. How much is the transport expense for the year? Percentage in terms of percentage? 50%. So transport expense in that year is actually 50%. 50% of what? S. But S is the monthly salary. He's asking us to find out for the year. So should we not multiply this by 12? Yes, we should multiply this by 12. You getting it? Monthly salary in 2005, 4S as it is. The monthly salary in 2003 is S. So transport expenses will be 50% of S. But 50% of S is the per month transport expenses. He's asking us to find out the expense of transport in 2003, which means for the entire year. And for the entire year, you have to just multiply by 12. Whatever is monthly, multiply by 12 to get the yearly value. So 50% of S multiplied by 12. Or you can also do it the other way. If the monthly salary is S, yearly salary would be 12S. Yearly salary is 12S. And transport expense is 50% of yearly salary. So 50% of 12S. Which doesn't make any difference. Final answer would come out to be the same. So what happens? S and S anyway gets cancelled. This 50% is like 1 by 2. right? It's like 1 by 2, 50%, and this 2 here goes 6 times. So basically 4:6, or which can be further simplified as 2:3. 2:3 is the final answer, which is option 5, none of these. So all those who have got 8:1 is the answer. I know why do we get 8:1 here, because you did not consider this word monthly. You have considered the yearly salary for the year 2005, and that gives you 8:1 as the answer. You're all wrong. Silly mistake, right? 8:1 or 1:8 are not the answers. Of course, option 3, option 4 also wrong. The correct answer is none of this. And in terms of absolute value, the ratio here is 2:1, right? 2:1. Sorry, 2:3. Monthly salary in 2005 versus the transport expense of 2003 will be 2:3. I hope all of you have followed this. So I think after having discussed these 3 questions, the conclusion is you have to pay attention to the question there, right? In a hurry you end up getting wrong answers. Like in this question, looks like most of you did not pay attention to the word monthly. He was asking us to find out the monthly salary of 2005. And similarly in the previous question also, if you look at it, most of you did not focus on the word expense. It was the total expense of the year 2004, right? 1,75,000. It was not the total salary of the year 2004. Getting it?